Welcome to Ocean Stories, a podcast hosted by me, Lydia Carey,
and me, Sarah Hersping. We may not be marine experts or even professional scuba divers, but we are curious about the ocean and ways to protect it.
Every week, we chat with conservationists, researchers, business owners, and anyone else with an ocean story to tell.
So whether you're a scientist or someone who's simply curious about the big blue, you're in the right spot. We can't save the seas alone,
but we can do it together.
Welcome back. New setup. Microphone between us. One day we will have 2 microphones. I keep saying this. Or we'll have a studio. Who knows? But for now, this is it. Happy Tuesday.
What if we sit on the floor?
You think that's better?
Yes. I feel like it's so much better because now we're 6 inches away.
Okay.
Sorry, I just thought of it.
You know what? We just pretended we could sit on the couch like proper podcasters, but now we're back on the floor.
Still figuring out the in-person setup. But here we are.
I could just move this baby blanket away, so. Okay, professional as always. This is the last episode of season 1. Surprise!
Wow, wrapping it up.
We will do a little recap all this week and next week pretty much. But yeah, we felt like this is a good point in time. Sorry, once again, noises that are not supposed to be here. Can you get your legs like under it or something?
I'm a little limited because of my injury.
Yeah, true. Oh my god, we have to talk about your injury. Okay, should we just start again?
Yes.
Okay, happy Tuesday!
And happy last episode of season 2. I feel like I should look at you.
Season 1!
Oh, of season 1.
Oh my god, we're about to start season 2. This is the last time you will hear us on season 1. We feel like this is a good wrap-up. We feel like we interviewed everyone we wanted to interview for season 1.
Now we
learned
in person.
So much. We are now together in person. There's so much going on in the back of it. And I feel like we need to start something new. I feel like season 2. There will be a 1-week break. But we will do some fun recaps from season 1.
Yeah.
So we will be back with season 2 March 18th.
Wow, that was quick with
No,
the date.
March 19th. March 19th.
We know our Tuesday dates. We'll say
So, but today is just Lydia and me once again. We're loving the solo eps here right now. What are we going to talk about? I feel like Lydia's interviewing me today because I have no clue what's going on today.
Well, I have a lot of
Lydia
things to
has
talk
a lot
about.
of things to talk about.
So do you, because you've sent some of them to me. I also feel like we are still getting used to recording in person, and right now we're looking at ourselves in the computer, and I like weirdly want to look at you, but we're really close together because we have one microphone, so we're just making it work. Okay, but
manifestations for season 2. One day we will have 2 microphones and setups. If there's someone out there who knows a lot more about podcasting than us, please reach out to us. Maybe we can hire you as our microphone technician because we are lost in this. Ow!
We have to figure it out. For season 2, actually, I'm putting it out there right now. We're going to figure it out.
For season 2.
Immediately.
Yeah.
Next week.
Next
on our
week.
off week, that's what we're going to be doing. But anyways, what's going on? Last week we talked to Brenda, who is the owner of the aquarium that has Charlotte. And I just wanted to talk about the fact that she still hasn't had her kids.
I know.
Or kid. We don't
No,
really
I
know.
think it's pups.
Pups or pup.
Oh, I thought it was... Oh, okay.
It could just be one.
Whoa, imagine one little ravioli in her belly. That would be so fun.
So, as of this morning, there hasn't been any updates posted, but their account has, like, totally blown up. They have, all of their pictures are getting, 60,000 likes and, 7,000 comments.
They deserve it.
So, Charlotte has still not had any babies. But I feel like everything else going on this week in ocean news has been insane. Insane. Okay, first of all, okay, I'll just go through it because I have a list.
Okay.
First of all, there has been so many headlines about the deep sea and how they're finding this crazy stuff in the deep sea that they've never seen before. Have you seen this?
No, I haven't.
So that's crazy.
Do I want to? I saw a video of that must have been AI generated because it was this huge squid spider looking thing and then a diver. But I don't think the diver could be where that big thing, like, it just didn't add up. But hopefully that's not actually real because I'm never going back into the ocean again.
Yeah, I don't know. Scientists are discovering crazy stuff. And then
Like, it gives some examples.
this morning, I saw a video that off the coast of Costa Rica, they found 4 new species of octopus. Like they were just like doing a thing and they just found 4 new species.
But, like, giant.
Which is so, no, they were really
Oh,
small.
okay.
But isn't it crazy that like they're still just discovering new species? Like, yeah, I'm a scientist. What'd you do today? Just discovered 4 completely unknown new types of animals that we didn't know about before.
That is wild.
To me, that's like psycho.
It's psycho. It also really makes me feel bad about my job decision because people are being out there doing actual crazy shit.
So that kind of got me going crazy. And then I think, well, there's 2 really crazy things. One of them, if you know me, then you know I've been talking about this nonstop because it has taken over my brain. It's taken over the Charlotte thing. Whales have never been seen doing the dirty before. At least it's never been captured
Yeah.
on video or photo. So scientists know very little
Mhm.
about how they reproduce
Mhm.
and what their behaviors are.
And now they found it.
For the first time ever, 2 whales, humpback whales, were seen
But wasn't it males?
doing the
Spoiler
dirty,
alert.
but it was 2 males.
I saw that.
How wild is that? So I did a bunch of reading about this.
Okay, tell me all
And
about it.
So apparently homosexual activity among like cetaceans is really common.
Yeah,
Especially
dolphins as well,
among
right?
bottlenose dolphins.
Yeah, I heard that.
They love to mess around and fool around, which love that for them. And it's just crazy because it's crazy to me that we have never seen them doing their thing and we don't know anything about it. And then the first time we see it, it's 2 males. Have you seen the pictures of it?
No.
One of you look scared.
Because you said it's getting
It
disturbing.
does. It's really disturbing. One of the whales was 13 years old, estimated, and the other one was 30 years old.
Okay.
The 30-year-old in the picture you can see is covered in whale sea lice. And that is a sign that the whale is not as mobile as it normally is. So they are saying that that whale is very likely sick. It also has a huge jaw injury from being struck by a boat. So this 30-year-old whale was like on its last legs, like he's not doing so hot. And the other whale likely took advantage of him.
Oh no.
Yeah,
I heard
so-
that dolphins do that too.
Yeah, so on top of the fact that it was like gay activity happening in nature that we like never get to see as humans and like scientists, whatever, it was also a really weird like behavioral thing that like the young whale was like, people are saying, well, was he showing dominance like other cetaceans do, blah blah blah. But this story has genuinely captivated my mind, and I commented on the post of like CNN's post about it, being like, these are my dream interview guests. And someone responded and was like, who? And I was like, obviously the whales. Like, I would love to talk to them to see what was going on.
That is just wild.
And something else in ocean news this week has been the ethics of talking to whales.
Oh, I've seen that too.
So that's pretty wild that they are talking about, if we can talk to whales, what would be the first thing we say?
I know, and like, yeah, what would we tell them? I feel like it would all be horrible news. I don't want to talk to the whales. I want the whales to tell us what's up. Like, I don't care.
Oh, you
Like,
wanna hear
there's
what they say.
nothing that I have to say to the whales. But only thing I have to tell them is like, sorry, because sorry for making your life so much harder. But then I'm like, so can you tell me what's bothering you? Like, how can we help you?
Yeah, in case this makes no sense, I think it's just that we, like humans, discovered a way to use AI to listen to whale sounds and then reproduce their language. So they're working on technology to communicate with them, and they've already tested it and it worked. So now they're saying like we can have a whole conversation with them, and a lot of people were saying that we should say sorry.
Cool.
It's
Yeah.
really depressing.
I would say sorry, and I would say, give us a list of the top 10 things that we need to do for you to feel better again. Like,
Okay,
stop
tell us what
boating,
to do.
no more seismic blasting or whatever that's called.
Yeah,
No more running over you guys with ships.
yeah.
No more tangling you guys up in fishing gear.
It's actually so fascinating to me.
Taking away your food, overfishing.
Because they were saying like there's a lot of different theories because nobody really knows how the whales are going to interpret it. They thought maybe the whales will just think it's more noise pollution because the boats cause so much noise pollution. So I don't know. If you know any experts in whale communication, I would love to talk to them. Or
It's
whale
also
sexual
wild.
behavior.
Full circle moment, because on our very, very first episode, we talked to Kendra, and she told us about orcas having different, not like different languages, but different dialects and stuff like that. So we were just, for fun, we were like, oh, so can we talk to them, or can we like hear what they say? Like, can we actually understand words? And we were like, no. And literally after that podcast episode, like a few months after, people started talking, like, not to orcas, but started talking to whales, which is crazy because like, what are the odds that that happened like moments
after we learned about that?
We learned about that, and we were like, oh, let's just talk to whales, ha ha ha. And then yeah, people are like, well, yeah, let's do it.
What do you think about talking to whales? Leave your comments down below. No,
but also kidding. I'm like, can we actually talk to them, or is it more like you can talk to a dog, but the dog cannot tell you what's up? You know what I mean? Like, what does it mean? Can we just like translate the way we would say sit to like whale language, and then I think like we cannot have like full blown conversations with a whale.
That is what they're trying to discover.
Okay.
So we'll see. Please follow us for updates on this.
We're the ones telling you.
The last thing in the crazy ocean news category is a video that I think Sarah sent me, and then I sent it to her again or something, because we're always doing that with the ocean videos. And it's this wild video, speaking of orcas, of a grandma orca whale absolutely bodying a great white shark, like out of nowhere. Like, it doesn't come out of nowhere. I mean, it does come out of nowhere. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah,
it swims up and chomps on the great white and then feeds her whole family with it.
I know, it is so wild. Like, you just think that great whites are the apex predator, but then there's this grandma orca that just comes swimming at this great white, and this great white looks like a little ant all of a sudden. It looks like a little helpless puppy.
And it's like, it looks like she killed it almost immediately.
It's wild.
It's amazing. We'll post the video because it's really crazy to watch. And I guess they're doing a TV series voiced by Oprah about like women animals, matriarch animals. And it was like an ad for that TV series.
Whoa,
this is not sponsored by the TV series, but I'm definitely going to watch it now because I love seeing that type of stuff, like mothers and nature and like how it connects to humans and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, so that's the week in crazy ocean news. There's just been so much happening, I think. But also there's been a lot happening in our lives. February was wild. Sarah started a new job. I got here and also started a new job, kind of.
There's just a lot going on at the moment. I feel like we're figuring things out. We are having big career questions, as we always do. I feel like that's my number one. If someone asks me like what my number one thing in my 20s will be, it's figuring out my career. Like, that's what's stressing me out the most. Everything else, I'm like, let's just roll with the wind. Everything's gonna fall into place. But just finding a career that I'm actually that I actually want and that aligns with my purposes. Oh my god, no future employees listen to this. If you're a future employee, stop here. But like, I feel like I always need something new and I always need something exciting, but I also really want it to be like ocean aligned and sustainability aligned. And I have a trillion things that I would love to do, but then they're not paying enough money to live in freaking San Diego, California, the most expensive city in the world, pretty much. And that is my Roman Empire. All I think about all day, every day.
I think you're unique in that is like what defines your 20s, because I think for most people it's that plus a million other things. So I think that's a pretty good spot to be in. But most people do panic about their career in their 20s. So I think it's also very normal.
Yeah. Yeah, probably. Like, I feel like a lot of people around me are
stressed
kind of
about my career, but also about my relationships, who I am as a person, where I'm gonna live for the rest of my life, who will I date, like all of these things.
Yeah. I
And my
feel like
career and like my health and my personality and just like but career thing too.
no. Okay, there's definitely more struggles. But I feel like with like where am I going to live? Who am I going to be surrounded? I mean, I'm
It
also
relates to your
married. That
career.
that makes some things
No,
easier.
but you're right. Like all those
No,
things
but
relate
those
to your
things I'm
career.
like very just like trust the process. Whoever's going to come in and out, and I don't care where I'm going to live because something's going to pop up and I'll just live there. Like those things like are not immediate stress vectors. I'm very much just like riding the wave. But then my career thing is like every morning I'm like, what's my career gonna be?
That's so interesting because I felt that way for so long. And now I actually feel like with my career, I'm totally at the mercy of like fate and destiny. Like, obviously, we get to make our own choices. And like you said, I would love for it to be something sustainability, environment, like people aligned, like something that's ethical and helps the world, which is actually super difficult to find, especially because today I was thinking about how it's hard to make like a lot of money in an ethical way. Actually,
That is the biggest problem. Also, like one thing I was thinking about a lot recently is like there are a bunch of people out there who are in the sustainability and ethical like field and diving and stuff, and they kind of like completely remove themselves from brand collaborations, which honestly so good for them because if you want to break it down to the bare minimum, that's what you have to do. Like if we don't want to have overconsumption, everything that you advertise is kind of like against what you're trying to do. But then on the other hand, I feel like that kind of creates a picture like you can be a sustainable creator and something like that without having brand collaborations. So I think we've said this before, but I'm like fine with working for sustainable brands that are actually trying and not greenwashing because I think that our whole society will keep consuming things for a long, long time. Like obviously being like a minimal, like consuming minimal items is what we are going for, but I don't think that's going to happen for a very long time because all like in our entire economy only works because we love buying shit. Like that would be a complete revolution and rethink of everything the world works because all we do is buy shit.
yeah. So in the meantime, it would be good to support businesses that are trying to build a circular economy and have aspects of their brand that are like revolutionary,
Yeah.
even though they're still within the consuming system. I think
Yeah.
those are the brands that we are trying to work with.
Yeah.
Ones that like every aspect of their business has been considered from like a sustainable environmental standpoint.
Totally.
So if you ever
Um
see us like advertising something, we put a lot of thought behind it because we don't want to just be out here like touting around brands that we don't actually support. I feel like that's
yeah.
true.
And that's the same with like I kind of started working in the UGC and content creation field a little bit, but there's not that many brands out there that will pay you well. There are some, and I love all of you, and they know as if they were listening, but
They might be.
there are. But there's so many like big beauty brands that have massive budgets and pay you like crazy money to create like two videos for them. I don't want to be the face of an ad or something I'm like truly not standing behind, but that really limits the ways to make money. You know what I mean? Like it's the kind of that is just what's going on here. If someone's in the same field, like why are we dwelling on this? It's just hard to find a career, hard to find something that works for you. Also, so many people have different ways of working. Me personally, I'm very much like a I need to work for myself and on my own schedule and I burst out work at once, but it kind of needs to be something different every day and I need to be like out and about. I don't know, there's like that works best. I feel like I would have a hard time in a lot of like 9 to 5s doing the same thing over and over every day. But that's what's like advertised to be like the most rational thing to do for most of us.
I couldn't disagree more with that advertisement. Like that it's the most rational thing. I think it's like the worst thing. And I think more and more people are just catching on to that every day.
Yeah.
And it's going to cause a huge issue. Like Gen Z is already so upset about it. Imagine how their kids are going to feel.
I know. I feel like the normal 9 to 5 world is gonna fall apart. But at the same
Thanks a
time,
lot in part to COVID and everything going more remote.
yeah,
I
for
think people
sure.
are really starting to see that you're not productive for those 8 hours anyways. In
Yeah.
most jobs, this is like generalizations. There are some 9 to 5s that will always exist, I
There's
think.
also some amazing companies out there that have like super cool like work structures and are like so like do so much good stuff for the employees. That's not what we're talking about. But just like the general. Also like the 10 days vacation a year, which is as a European like literally uh, just like it's the you either work to live or you live to work.
As someone that aligns with Europeans, I couldn't agree more.
Like that I didn't even know that existed until 3 years ago, and obviously it's again so privileged to even have the choice to do that or to not do that. More and more people in my surroundings are like working at cafes or bartending and then also creating their own thing, which like if you want to support your dreams and you have to work at like a cafe or a bar next to your regular stuff that you're working on, that's great.
Yeah. Have your side hustle. Is that what you mean?
I guess yeah, that's what I mean.
Do your thing.
Do your thing.
Do
But I feel
your
like
thing.
side hustle, okay, that's my problem with a side hustle. A side hustle always seems like it's on the side and it's kind of like in the background. But you can make your side hustle your plan A and then work at a cafe to support that. And I don't like the word side hustle because that makes it not the priority in my mind.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Rephrase the side
So
hustle.
basically, follow
Main
your
hustle.
dreams.
Follow your dreams, everybody.
And that's on inspiration. You thought you were getting only ocean. Now you got some
Well,
you got some inspo.
Lydia's following her dreams, but that led her to a dog attack.
Yeah, so February was a crazy month for me, and it's led me to try out some new jobs because, like I was saying, I do think you get to decide. Like, I think you're still in charge of your fate and your destiny, but I think you gain a lot when you let go of your expectations about what you think you're supposed to do and sort of follow the alignment of opportunities when they present themselves. So for me, an opportunity presented itself right after I was fired, so I'm exploring new things, and I was attacked by a dog. Which I'm gonna like cringe at my laughing later, but I mask the pain of the situation with laughter. That's what the ER lady told me. She's like, "Why are you laughing?" And I'm like, "Because I'm really sad." But yeah, I was attacked by a dog, but I'm fine.
Wait, you were laughing in the ER?
I was crying, and then so they had to give me a shot. And
Were you alone in there?
Yes,
Oh
yeah.
my god, that's so scary.
I'm not really afraid of needles, but I was having a really emotional day,
Mhm.
obviously, in an emotional moment. So she opens the door with the needle for the tetanus shot, and I said to her, like laughing and crying, I was like, I'm not afraid of needles and I'm not afraid of shots, but I'm just having a really emotional day, so I'm going to cry a lot right now. And she was like, it's okay. Everyone masks their sadness with laughter. And I was like, okay. So yeah, that was a fun little end of February treat, but I'm okay. And watch out for dogs.
It honestly kind of looks like you have a shark bite on your leg.
Someone immediately after it happened, everyone was like, you have to say it was a shark bite for Ocean Stories. Like, you have to, because it's in the shape of a bite, the injury.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm sure like shark people know that shark teeth are very different from dog teeth, but as
and it's
someone
way less
who,
serious.
doesn't really know that much about it, I'm like, this looks like if you get like little scars, then you just have to tell people it was a shark.
I mean, one of my favorite picture, like meme things ever is this guy, and he's standing with like a pointer and a whiteboard, and there's a chart. And on the x-axis, it says find out, and on the y-axis, it says F around. I'm censoring myself for the podcast. So, does that make sense?
Mhm.
So, like, the more you F around, the more you find out. And I just love that as a life philosophy. Like, I actually think about it all the time because I feel like I've been following that the past 3 years and I have found out astronomical amounts of information.
Yeah.
And what did I find out the last week of February? Beware of dogs, because in California, it is quite common to have an attack dog.
Whoa, really? I did not know about that.
Way more common than you would ever have thought before.
Wow.
Just one of the many, many lessons that I'm learning in February. I also learned lock your car. Don't leave anything valuable inside that might entice people to enter it.
Lydia's car was broken into, and there was a Valentine's love letter to me.
To Sarah.
And whoever broke into her car or who was on some sort of a psycho mission literally burned the letter in front of her house, so little pieces were left over, and it was just like, it was so crazy. And what else did they do? They dumped out like
So I had,
detergent or
yes, I had a
something?
thing of detergent and they had dumped it out, but sort of like across the street. So at first I thought that they had poured it into my gas tank because the gas cap was also open. So I was like, oh my God, they just destroyed my car. Because I'm pretty sure when you put like a non-gas liquid in the gas tank, it's a huge pain. At least
Yeah.
I've heard that.
No, yeah, that
But
was.
they didn't. They just poured it in the street. But nothing was stolen, which is the weirdest part of the whole thing.
Yeah, the car also wasn't
The car
stolen.
wasn't stolen, but the fuse box was open and all messed with. So I think that the person was just out of their minds and decided to burn my love letter to Sarah for Galentine's. So that's a big shame.
That's actually the main shame of the month. No, I'm kidding.
It was never read. So
I know. I was honestly trying to read like the few letters that were.
you could still read a little bit of
Yeah,
it.
I was like, oh my god, I wonder what was.
It just said nice stuff. But
See, I didn't get to hear nice stuff. Thanks
yeah,
to that person.
thanks to that person. So what did we find
F
out?
you.
Don't leave anything in your car and just double, triple check that it's locked when you leave it at night if you live in San Diego. That's all I'm going to say on that.
Or anywhere.
More
in this
life
world.
advice. Well, we're doing a recap of season 1 these next 2 weeks, or 1 week, or however long it takes to recap all of our episodes.
I think it's gonna be 2 weeks.
So if you haven't had the chance to listen to any of our past episodes, we'll give you like a really quick rundown right now. A little bit
Oh my goodness,
of
okay.
what some of them are. Just any standout moments that we can think of right now. Well, I pulled up a list of all of them.
Okay.
So we highly encourage you to go back through them because some of them that are our personal favorites were like not the most popular ones, but the interviews were actually so insightful and
Yeah.
inspirational.
And then the crowd favorites were kind of our favorites as well.
True. So obviously we already mentioned the first one was about orca whales.
So many good fun facts. If
With
you were
Kendra.
anything, like if you were interested into orcas, even the slightest little bit, it's about captivity. It's about all the crazy stuff they do. It's about how clever they are, about how they are attacking great white sharks in boats and all. Yeah, that one, I was like, holy crap.
It's chock full of fun facts for
Yeah.
sure.
That one's sick.
And people love that one as well.
We had a bunch of episodes about sharks, which sharks always seem to be a crowd favorite, which makes sense. I mean, I'm also like, if there's a shark, I'm going to listen to it.
We talked to Kat Sharks. She's a
Yes.
shark ecologist, and also she's traveled the world and lived in a bunch of places, and she's super funny.
I love that episode too so much. Oh my god.
And we talked to Taylor.
To
That was one of
Taylor.
our most recent episodes. She does shark ecotourism dives in Hawaii.
Also, great episode about like overcoming your fears and stuff. Because I feel like that's also always a big theme with us here.
Let's
and
talk about
generally.
our most depressing episodes and then the most happy ones.
I don't really know though, because like if I think about depressing ones, they're also happy at the same time. Like
There's
they're
always a
really-
glimmer of hope
Yeah, like,
and solutions.
I loved the coral one with Kate.
Okay, that would be a
but-
positive one.
No, to me that was like a depressing one. But then
it's
also
about Coral's
really positive
comeback.
one.
Coral's comeback.
I know, but it's also like, okay, we will face so many more like El Ninos and like really crazy weather phenomenons, and they're all going to die. And then obviously it has a lot of positivity in it, but to me that's like I'm still like it is more like big picture climate change, and I feel like that's always more depressing than focusing on like a small tiny thing, because it feels like you can like the Stream to Sea one, so depressing to hear all about it, but I feel like I'm more in control of that, so it's less depressing to me than the big climate change thing, because I just feel so depleted, because we talk about how like 70% of the emissions are literally contributed, like, or no, 10 companies are pretty much polluting our world and responsible for 70% of our CO2 emissions or something like that. And then I'm like, yeah, how am I gonna actually fist fight the gas and Coca-Cola economy? Like, what? I don't know, it's just frustrating to me. You know what I
10
mean?
likes and Sarah will fist fight ExxonMobil and BP. No, but so we had the corals come back in Changing Climates with Kate. And if you're into
I love
coral,
it.
you'll like that one. And
No
you
one
also
did, yeah.
mentioned we had one with Stream to Sea, which is a brand that makes body care products that are actually a million times checked for any possible harm they could cause the environment. And obviously they pass. So they make these products
And
that
also humans.
are really human safe
Mhm.
and really environment safe. But in that episode, we talk about like the state of the FDA approving these products and recalls and all of the nasty chemicals and endocrine disruptors that are surrounding us in our daily lives, including with plastics. So that one was a bit depressing, but there's also obviously solutions.
There's like, so I feel like this one is very solution orientated in the way of like, here are examples how we already fixed the situation, we just need to do it on a big scale, which obviously that again feeds into like how are we ever going to have like 8 million billion people in this world do this. But I don't know, this one, which one was depressing? Also, can you give me the water, please?
Yes.
I ate a moldy toast by accident this morning, and I'm like, I think it's all mental, but I feel like I'm gonna get it.
One that was like really upsetting to me as a international development foreign aid girly from the past was the Chopu surf
Oh my
contest.
goodness.
We talked with Tariva David. He is a super cool pro surfer guy who is from Tahiti and was telling us about the Olympics building this tower. And as an update on that, they are still building the tower. They made like some concessions though.
Mm-hmm.
So they made some changes to the design of the tower so that it's supposedly supposed to cause less harm. But I think the people there are actually still really, really upset because the barges, one of the major issues is that which we talk about in the episode, so I won't bore you with it, but the barges being used to build the boats. No, to build the stand, it scrapes the bottom of the ocean.
Oh my god, there's so many videos of the boats going in and actually just ripping out parts of the reef and like people on the pier crying and screaming. It's so heartbreaking. And all of this is happening. I don't know, did we say this? This is happening because of the Olympics, because France is hosting the Olympics, so they have the surf contest in French Polynesia, which is like as far from France as it could possibly be. At Chopu, like the most famous wave in the world, pretty much. So just how a lot of people kind of boycotted the World Cup, I'm like boycotting the surf contest of the Olympics now. Is that what we're doing?
I mean, we'll
I
have
mean,
to
it's
keep following
definitely-
what
yeah,
happens to see
We'll see
because
what happens.
maybe even some surfers are going to protest and
Yeah, I
boycott
really
it.
wonder what's gonna happen. It's happening soon, right? The Olympics? Is it this spring? Oh yeah, it's this
I
summer.
have no idea.
That's why the flights to Europe are so expensive, because everyone
Oh.
goes for the
Gotcha.
Olympics.
Gotcha. If you have no idea who we are or like how we met, we made an episode about that too this season.
Oh yeah.
Talking with Emma, who was the founder of Ocean Mimic, and kind of how we got here. So if you're really confused and intrigued, you could listen to that. We made an episode about the North Sea and the Outer
Oh,
Banks.
yeah, people
Because I
actually
was in
like
the Outer
that one.
Banks, and because Sarah went viral for talking about the North Sea.
I'm actually sad that the North Sea trend is dying down a little bit. I want it to be back up there and running. I mean, now it's Charlotte, I guess. Oh yeah, we have an episode with Charlotte, the pregnant Ray. I feel like the new hyperfixation of TikTok is now Charlotte, and it used to be the North Sea. So
We talked with a lot of women this season.
I was thinking about that.
In an amazing
OMG.
way. Kayla is who first
Oh.
came to mind. We love you. I mean, she's the founder and president of a nonprofit that is doing really amazing, cool stuff, exposing people to ocean science. That's the episode about Blue World.
Oh yeah, maybe next week on Tuesday we'll actually get our YouTube video out. I'm saying this while working way too many hours a week right now, and YouTube is hard, but it's so great, and it's all about our Catalina weekend and a lot about Blue and all the amazing stuff.
She is the one who lives on Catalina
Yeah,
Island
she
and
invited
who
us.
invited us. We also talked with Alice, who she has her jewelry brand made of ocean plastics.
I love that episode.
She's really inspiring. She's a spiritual girly who really deeply cares about the environment and has a lot of really good emotional things to say about it.
Yes.
We talked with Sean of Gilly Eco Trust.
Also, crazy episode. I feel like that one was like your field of study in a nutshell.
Yeah, it was super sustainability, community development, like local, how can we make organizations run effectively, and waste management. And then they also have animals, and it's all happening on a very small island in like kind of a closed ecosystem in a way. So it's just super interesting
Mhm.
to see how they're handling all of those issues. And there's a bunch more episodes. Fish Free February, which just ended.
I did it! Woohoo! And I'm saying I because Lydia never eats fish.
I did Fish Free Live. Woo! Sorry to upstage you.
But honestly, I had a few moments in February where I was like about to order something with fish in it or go to like the market here and get something with fish, and then I was like, nope, I'm doing Fish Free Fab. So that was really cool, and it was like good to check in and just actually realize. I feel like sometimes it's easy to not even really be aware of the amount of something you consume, whatever it is, fish in this.
It's so funny, actually, a little story about that episode. Like 2 or 3 days after we released it, I went to a group dinner with some, like fancy, wealthy people, and they were talking to me about the podcast and asking me all about the most recent episode, which was the Fish Free February episode.
Wait,
But
were you
they-
in San Diego already?
Yeah, yeah. This
Oh.
was the Fish
Oh,
Free
yeah,
February
yeah.
episode, yeah. And basically, what they did was they ordered like 30 oysters, ahi tuna salad, like just a ton of different fish meals, like sushi, like just to try one of everything. And then they were like, "Oh, what was your most recent episode about?" And I was like, "Oh, it's actually about how in February there's like a movement trying to get you to eat less fish and seafood." So that was really awkward and fun. It's just like when people ask you at dinner when they're eating steak why you're vegetarian.
I
And
love that though. I mean, I'm not a vegetarian currently. I should really go back. But um when people ask me, I'm like, well, because it's really fucked to eat meat. Meanwhile, I'm doing it at the moment.
um what else did we talk about? We talked to Scuba Dan.
I want to go back to no, you mentioned scuba diving, but so cool because okay, we were on this island last week. I recently joined this like really cool girls surf community in San Diego, which we're probably going to talk about one day in episode 2. But it was all about like women empowerment and women in ocean and women in surfing and all those kind of things. And yesterday I was driving my car and I was like, holy crap, we pretty much only interviewed women, but we didn't really try. It was just like, it just happened naturally.
Just happened like
but
that.
I'm really happy about that.
More amazing women who I loved. I was Elle, the professional mermaid.
Ooh,
Mermaid Elle.
career. Honestly, I feel like that one ties in well with how we opened this episode about career stuff because she is gone. Like she just had opportunities presented to herself and she just jumped on it and she just ran with it. And there's no way that when she was 25, she was like, "Oh, I'm going to become a professional mermaid." Like I'm sure she didn't even know that was a thing, and now
Yeah.
she is one, and she has like
And she's
this-
so successful. She's
so
doing
cool.
amazing like nonprofit stuff. And you're right. Like she did not know that that was going to be her career when she was 25. And now it's her full-time job. And how
Yeah.
cool is that? Like, what
How
a
cool
cool
is that?
job.
We probably all don't even know about half of this stuff.
I also
that we
just
will
loved
work for.
talking to her. I felt like she had real life princess energy.
Yeah,
And she
was
just like
wonderful.
embodied being an ocean guardian
Yeah.
woman. One of our favorite things we did, I think, was doing the podcast swap with Carissa.
Ooh, yeah. Like every time you mention something, I'm like, oh my god, yes. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah, so Carissa, she has a podcast called Sustainability and the Sea.
Carissa is my role model.
We love her.
Like,
Yeah.
literally, she's
She
my
interviewed
pop
us. So if you haven't heard that, you should check it out. She interviewed us, and it was really fun to be interviewed. We were
Yeah,
like
we're like,
thinking,
"Hmm."
this is really fun.
Also,
And then we interviewed her.
Yeah.
And she talked to us about Future Swell, which is her business, and then also a bunch of other stuff that she's been working on, like communications in the ocean world.
yeah, she's just so cool. And I feel like she also gave us a lot of hope. And she was like, okay, if you really want to do something, you just got to go for it and you just got to make it happen, which is So true. I really needed to hear that in that moment. I actually need to hear that at least once a
It
week.
came to us at a really good time,
Yeah.
though, that podcast swap, and it also connected us with fun people who you'll hear from in season 2. So a
Super
lot to
excited.
look forward to. I mean, I don't want to know what sneak peeks to give for season 2.
No, we won't.
No sneak peeks. Okay, let's just say get excited. Okay,
Maybe
ASMR
actually.
excited.
I feel like season 2 we're gonna expand a little bit because season 1 was very like it was very like ocean diving conservation focus, which we still like and we still love, and it's still the main purpose of this podcast. But I feel
It was
like
also
for
very career focused. I think
career focused
marine
too.
bio career focused.
Yes. Season 2, we gotta branch out. We want more ocean stories. Like the other day, I talked to someone I'm pretty close with, and I was like, oh my god, I would love to have you on the podcast. And she's kind of like, I don't know if I fit into like the whole like ocean conservation sustainability thing. And I'm like, well, but you have a great ocean story, and I want you on. We want you on. So I feel like that's what we're gonna do for season 2. Also, branching out more into like sustainable stories that don't have to be super ocean related, because you can be crazy sustainable on land. You can live next to a lake, whatever it is. I feel like we kind of niched down a little bit on season 1, which was amazing, and I feel like it was the perfect start also for us to understand what was just some crazy people out there to just get an idea. But yeah, season 2 is gonna be broader, wider. Anyone is welcome.
Yeah, more stories about the interconnectedness, I think, is kind of what you're touching on. Like, even if you live at a lake and you have some lake story, I'm sure we can find a way to connect it to the ocean vibes
Yeah.
or to sustainability, to the environment.
But also, if you rowed across the Atlantic Ocean in a boat by yourself, or you're a sailor and you're not super sustainable, then you still have a really cool ocean story to tell. Like, you don't need to be all plastic free. I'm like
Zero waste.
zero waste, and I'm protesting every weekend. I feel like we people are like now scared that they have to be the perfect conservationists to come on, which is not the
That's
case
not
at
true at all,
all.
yeah.
Like, we aren't either.
That is not our vibe at all, though. I don't think
Yeah.
I hope we don't give off that vibe.
I feel like a little bit.
I feel like I try to be so open and transparent with people that, like, nobody is perfect, especially not me.
No, I don't think that, but I feel like just from the people that we chose for season 1, a lot
Oh,
of
they're
people
so good.
they you just listen to it and I'm like, oh my god, you literally perfect, and what am I even doing with my life kind of vibes,
Okay.
because they are all absolute superstars.
Well, I'm sure that season 2 will be superstars too.
Yeah. More superstars. I think that's it. That's it. That's all we have to say.
About season 2?
And season 1. Do you have any last thoughts and prayers?
Thank you to everyone that came on. I loved all of our guests. I loved connecting with them. And then I also loved the reception of some of the episodes and just hearing what people thought. It's like so exciting to hear people's reactions or their takeaways from the episodes. That's honestly probably our favorite thing.
Yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I think we said this before, but it's the first time that people are actually sending us messages and we don't know them personally, and it's the best thing ever. We're like, oh my god, people are listening, people are loving it. We love it.
We're ready to level up. So we're going to level up our studio for season 2.
Our editing. Oh my god, yeah. If you listen back to older episodes, please bear with us, because some of the early ones, now that I'm listening back, yesterday I was like listening to an episode with Alice Cooper, and they were like, call her daddy, and she was talking about like the first episodes she ever recorded, and she's like, I literally didn't even use my regular voice. I was a different person. I cannot listen
That's
back
so
to it
us.
ever. She's like, everything about this was horrendous and crazy, and that's us. Like, if I listen, I'm not going to tell you which one the first one was, but
Yeah.
and we did a good job editing it so it doesn't sound as crazy. If you would hear the live recording, and we were so nervous, oh my god, it's actually hilarious. So
Yeah, even still, we're improving all the time. So
for sure.
we're just two girls. We're just two girls trying to learn about the ocean
And not
and talk about it
get attacked by dogs.
and not get attacked by dogs or sharks. Thumbs up from Sarah.
I feel
Okay,
like
well,
those were really great last words for season 1.
Okay, should we leave it at that?
Mhm.
Okay, see you in season 2.
Bye. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Ocean Stories. If you'd like to follow along on Instagram, you can find us at oceanstories_podcast for updates and behind the scenes.
We'll also be sharing our ocean adventures on YouTube at Ocean Stories Podcast. If you like this episode, please show your support by leaving a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Join us next Tuesday for more Ocean Stories.